This is my AI YouTube channel that went viral in just 7 days, and I want you to start doing the same. So in this video, I'm opening a brand new channel and I will go viral in 7 days using AI. So you can replicate the entire process and start getting results for yourself. But for this to happen, we need to start today. Selecting the niche. From doing research to see what is currently trending, I found this channel here. They have gained over 200 million views, all within less than 20 uploads. To give you some perspective in terms of the financials behind a channel like this, they would be earning approximately 15,000 USD per month. So as you can imagine, we want that. Before seeing this channel though, I had no idea about this type of content. Essentially, the channel is making animated stories surrounding a game which is called Grow a Garden. And from doing a Google search about this game, I found that last week it broke the record for the most concurrently played game of all time. And as you can see visually here on Google Trends, you can see how much this game has blown up in popularity over the last month. While this research gets me very excited and this channel is very inspiring, we do not want to copy them. Because on YouTube, when a channel is established, it's very difficult to get traction by just making the same content. What I have noticed though is that these videos follow a very linear approach to storytelling. For example, this short here that has over 45 million views introduces some idea, such as this character is being used as a sprinkler, which is the hook of the video. And as the video progresses, that single idea is just executed, which is the rising action. And the video ends with the character being celebrated, which is the payoff. And we can visually represent these story components on a graph that looks like this. And this is a typical story structure of the example channel. Now, typically within developed niches on YouTube, to have increased engagement, we apply a story structure that looks like this, which is called a conflict arc. It has a hook, a rising action, but then a conflict, a comeback, another rising action, and a payoff. In this structure, the added conflict and comeback makes the story less predictable, which in turn increases our engagement and the amount of views we get. So what I think we can do here is take the existing niche of the trending channel and then apply it to our improved storytelling process. Now, despite this looking great on paper, we are faced with one major issue. How the hell am I meant to create animations at this level? I do have some experience operating an animation channel because in my last video, I documented the entire process of running one for 30 days. That channel went on to get monetized and I was awarded these cool awards from YouTube. But I wasn't the animator. I outsourced them to a professional because animating is a time-consuming and complicated process. To overcome this challenge, I could learn how to animate myself, but we only have 7 days here. So what I think we can do is use the latest advancements in artificial intelligence to create these animations for us. And all of this put together should allow us to go viral in just 7 days. Yeah, it's quite ambitious, but we are going to make this work. Channel setup. I have this channel here that we are going to rebrand. This channel is a few years old and it's one that I like to call that is aged. If you want to start creating content that gets results, you must be uploading from an account that is at least 7 days old and has a watch history. If you don't do this, YouTube will think your account is spam and you'll have no chance at getting views. Now, coming into our channel customization, you will see that we need to give our channel some updates. I'm going to come to ChatGPT because I don't really know where to start with this. I will start off by giving ChatGPT a simple description of the channel that we are taking inspiration from. So you will see in my prompt there, I have made sure that ChatGPT understands that the channel is themed surrounding a character, and I have provided a screenshot as reference. I do recommend every creator out there to have a brand behind whatever content they are making, whether it's some type of recognizable character or even yourself as a person, because when it comes time to monetize your channel outside of YouTube ads, it will be much more achievable if you have a brand. Okay, but coming back into ChatGPT, it seems it has given us some results here. Some of these are okay, but what sticks out to me is this concept here of broke blocks. I am thinking that this concept of broke blocks with a farmer would allow us to naturally integrate some type of rags to riches storyline. All right, so let's give broke blocks a try as our channel handle. And for your channel handle, you can never have spaces. So let's remove that. And as you'd expect, it is not available. What I like to do if it's not available is just add a reel at the end and it is available. So let's make sure our broke blocks goes into our channel name. Okay, so that is looking good. Let's do our channel banner and our profile picture. I first started off by using ChatGPT's image generator to generate the profile picture, which looked like this. And then using the same process, I generated the channel banner, which looked like this. ChatGPT does struggle to generate the correct resolution of images, so I had to do some changes in Photoshop. I then exported the images outside of Photoshop. Then I uploaded uploaded them both to the channel customization tab, and then the channel was set up in just over 10 minutes. So our channel Broke Blocks is now set up, ready for our first upload. We have run into one issue so far, which is the consistency with AI image generating, and let me show you. So you can see our profile picture has a happy face, and then our channel banner has a sad face. I am a perfectionist, so these two things do annoy me quite a lot, but I am having to remind myself that these things don't actually affect how many views you get, and it's not going to affect how fast we go viral. So let's continue with what actually matters. Video ideation. Whenever we create a high-performing YouTube video, we go through a phase called ideation. Because regardless of how much we validate a niche, it's not the vehicle that gets us the views. It's what videos we upload. That is why I'm about to go deep into researching all about Grow a Garden to create a video topic that is not only relevant, but also unique. I began by reviewing the channel that started this whole challenge to find any commonalities among their most popular videos. What stood out immediately to me was the hooks. There was always some sudden movement within the first frame, and it usually looked like this, where the character was running towards the camera. I took note of this and decided that our hook was going to use this method because it was working so well. Now, to speed up this process, and what I typically do when reviewing high-performing content, is to type out exactly what happens in each scene and note down other details, such as the duration of each scene, a screenshot of the scene, the title of the video, and the performance in terms of views. I did this for 3 popular shorts on the channel, and on the 3rd short, I got an idea of how this Grow a Garden game works. And it's pretty simple. The user just plants a seed, then waits for it to grow, then harvests the seed, and then sells it to a vendor to make game currency. Quite a simple concept for one of the most popular games of all time. But anyway, let's continue. After that research, I fed each of the outlines into ChatGPT for it to help analyze any common patterns. And as we already knew, the storylines were very linear, but it also provided some more ideas that I took on board. From this point onwards, I changed my research strategy because, as I mentioned to you, you do not want to be another clone of an existing channel. So I went further down into the rabbit hole and I found some very interesting insights. So I have found 2 key pieces of information that we're going to leverage for our first video. Firstly, this short here. What do you think caught my attention? And no, it's nothing to do with the video itself, so just ignore that. Have a look. Okay, so it did get over 30 million views, which is great, but that's not what we're looking for. What caught my eye was the amount of comments, 16,000. Now, on a 30 million viewed short, I would probably expect 6,000. So this is a complete outlier in terms of engagement. All of the comments are referring to of a certain game mechanic of having a dog, which has allowed them to get what seems a very desirable game item of a beanstalk seed. And some of the comments here have over 30,000 upvotes. So I have noted this down, and I think we can integrate this proven idea into perhaps the comeback of our short, where the dog would dig up a beanstalk seed for our farmer to go ahead and make a comeback. Now, for my second insight, I did use a tool that members in my private coaching get access to, which is my private niche finding tool. And you can see this channel here caught my attention. If I click and open this channel, just within their first 4 uploads, they achieved over 100 million views. And since then, they are baselining at around 1 million views per upload. Their entire channel is based around this concept of hackers or admins abusing their power in the game, which is obviously resonating very well with our target audience. So what I think we can do is integrate this proven hacker idea into perhaps the conflict of our short. Now, at this point, the overall story flow was still missing a few key components. I was struggling to integrate any idea into the rising action before having some type of hacker conflict. So I did go ahead and restructure the storyline for it to make sense to me. And this left us with something called a looped arc, where now we would have 2 conflicts. From this point, I decided to make the first rising action a core game mechanic, which would be our character interacting with the vendor. And then the conflict would be the vendor rejecting our item for sale. Both of these ideas were taken straight from the example short that taught us the game mechanics earlier. Then for the second comeback, I decided that we'd just use a call to action to spark the final rising action, which I decided that it would just be our character hustling and am planting heaps of seeds. Finally, the payoff was going to be simple. It was just going to be our character getting revenge on the hacker. Obviously, at this point, our story outline is still at a high level and there are gaps that need to be filled. But Rome was not built in a day. These gaps will be filled naturally when we are creating our video. And all of that research and ideation took me just over 20 minutes to complete. So that was longer than I wanted to spend on that, but I did my best to show you my logic because I really want you to understand that original ideas don't win on YouTube. Better execution does. Most people, when they create content, they waste years trying to invent something new or just strictly follow what a popular channel is doing. Before I started to go viral on literally every single channel I start, I didn't realize that many viral videos aren't created from scratch, they're improved. Find what's already working and then make it your own so you'll have no competition and then you'll win big. It's time to bring the storyline that we just created to life using AI, and we aren't gonna mess around. I got straight into typing out the story structure that we came up with into ChatGPT, and I asked it to generate image prompts for each of the scenes. And after we got back to the image prompts, I wanted to make a point to you. Okay, so far, what I've done is just copy out our first image prompt, which was our hook, and I've just pasted it at the bottom here. And I just want to show you the first image that we get back from ChatGPT. Here we go. Okay, so after waiting for around 30 seconds, our image is now complete. And as you can see, you can make your own judgment on it, but it is terrible. This is not the quality we want to achieve. And I have shown you this because I want to make the point here, which is that you should not rely solely on ChatGPT or any AI to do the work completely for you. You need to be involved in the process to get good results at the end. So what I'm gonna do now is use this exact same prompt and slightly edit it, and then also add in some reference images, which I've referenced in the image prompt. And let's have a look now at what it looks like. Okay, so the image generation is done, and as you can see, the quality difference is substantial. With that out the way, it was on to creating the first animation. And to do this, I used an AI video generator. All I did was input the image that we generated from ChatGPT and instructed the generator to have the character running towards the camera and have the ground moving. After that was typed out, I generated the video using the generate button. And after waiting 1 minute, you can see from my reaction how impressed I was with the quality. So I just got back the first video prompt, and yeah, each time I use AI in this way and I'm actually like hands-on with it in terms of my prompts, the quality is insane. Like, I just want to point out to you that his hat is even interacting with the sun as he moves up and down. Very excited to see how this video is going to perform and turn out. AI just blows my mind away. And this shows you that AI as a tool has come so far. And now what is holding you back with animation content especially is just your ideation. It's no longer a technical challenge because in the past you had to use, as I mentioned, complex softwares and it was a very time consuming process. But now you can literally sit down in any topic and start creating high performing animation content. So let's continue and finish this off. Now, all I did was repeat that exact process, generating all the images and then generating each of the videos using the AI video generator. Finally, after all the generations were completed, I dragged them into my timeline and cut them up into 1 to 3 seconds clips to keep the pacing fast. I then got into sound design, which was sound effects like running, character noises, and any other sound effects to make the scenes come alive. I finally finished off the video with a music track, and then the video was complete. So that was just over 1 hour to complete. And I'm happy how it turned out, but one thing I want to show you is how we were able to integrate those existing viral ideas into the real thing. Let's have a look. So I'll just press play so you can get an idea, and here we go. Firstly, the hook, which was running towards the camera, interacting with the vendor, which is the first rising action, rejection from the vendor, being the first conflict, and then going to our first comeback, which was digging up the seed, the beanstalk seed. And yeah, the short just continues just as planned. And I just want to bring something to your attention about what we just created here. Within 2 hours, you saw me go from someone with zero experience in this subject. But by applying myself and applying the right research strategies, we were able to create an extremely high-performing piece of content. As you probably figured, I did not select this content because it's something I'm interested in or I already know a lot about. I am creating content around the subject because it's lucrative. Upload time. It is now time to put everything we've just done to the test and upload our video. For titles, I just like to name it something relevant to the video. So I'm gonna call this Broke Farmer versus Hacker. What I usually like to do as well is just grab 2 emojis There we go. Now, because this is our first upload on our channel, we're gonna try and help out the YouTube algorithm by just adding grow a garden. Now for descriptions, I just like to rename the title. And because this is a YouTube short, I'm also gonna add a hashtag shorts. And there we go. So title and description is sorted. Now coming down into the other settings, we wanna select that this content is not made for kids, so we don't end up on YouTube Kids. For all of these other settings, we're just gonna ignore them. Everything set to default is fine. But for tags, we wanna add some. So I'm just gonna add some now, and there we go. You do not need to go overboard with your tags, just a couple is fine. Coming up, everything looks good. And one thing I always do is just watch my short back in case there's any issues. And yeah, no issues. So let's go ahead and now upload our first video. Okay, our video is now live. Let's hope that this time tomorrow, this 0 views is slightly higher. Day 2, and let's check out how the short performed overnight. It's been around 24 hours. I think it's been just slightly under, so let's have a look at the performance for the first time together right now. 27,000 views. That is better than I thought we would do, especially, it's only been just over 20 hours. So let's have a look at the chart. We were pretty flat for the first 8 hours, and then we got this big push here up to around 25,000, and it has slowed down, but most importantly, we haven't flatlined. We're still getting around 1,000 views per hour, which is great. And hopefully for the remaining 4 hours of this 24 hours, we get another push. Beyond just the view count, we did get almost 250,000 subscribers from this one video alone so far. And I bring up 1,000 subscribers because if I come up here and then come down to the earn tab, you will see that that is one of the first criterias to start earning from YouTube ads. Now, obviously this channel won't be hitting that for the next 48 hours, but it's a goal that we are keeping in our mind. Let's come back to the content and go slightly deeper than just views and subscribers. If I come down to these metrics here, you can see that our swipe through rate is 61%, which is not ideal. We usually want this number to be at around 80%, because what this means is that each time our video is served to the shorts feed, 60% of people stay to watch our video. Although considering that this is our first upload on a brand new channel, a rate like this is to be expected. For this reason, it's extremely difficult to go viral on your first upload, no matter what niche you're uploading in. It is the only time on YouTube where luck does come into the equation of getting results. And yes, there is luck involved on YouTube, but onwards from your second upload, there are no excuses. I've got many examples of mine that I can show you of this exact discovery phase at play. For example, this channel here, which I did run at around 1.5 years ago at this point. If I come into my shorts and I scroll all the way down, you can see on my first upload, I did achieve just over 70,000 views. But on my second upload, after YouTube went through that initial discovery phase to find my audience, you can see that it did achieve over 10 million views. So if for whatever reason, I was discouraged by the 70,000 views, I would have never seen 10 million views on my second upload, and then subsequently millions of views on every single upload after that. So don't be discouraged if your first upload doesn't have the best stats. But coming back over to the shorts performance now, even though our swipe through rate wasn't ideal, when YouTube did find our correct audience, we had an extremely high retention of 46 seconds, as shown by this metric here of average view duration. Overall, very happy with how we performed here. I'm just gonna sit back now and I'll update you when I make the next key decision. Jack Craig Coaching. If you have been wanting to start your own YouTube channel that generates you an income, you can get access to my one-to-one private coaching. Inside my coaching, I guide you through the same process that you see in my videos for either long form or short form content. I help you develop your own niche that is built for growth and guide you through the ideation and execution of every single video you upload. Because this program is highly personalized and hands-on, I can only work with a few people per month. Using my website linked below, you can learn more about my coaching and apply. And as you would expect with me, I have verifiable results that my coaching actually works across both video and written testimonials. Day 4. The views have started to slow down as we are now sitting at 30,000. As I mentioned though, seeing our videos struggling to perform is to be expected because this is our first video on a new channel. My plan now is to start creating our second short that should allow our channel to go viral. I did more research on YouTube to find more high performing content that resonates well with our target audience. And something kept coming up that I could not ignore. So I've been researching about Grow a Garden because that is our focus currently, but this new game here keeps coming up, and the growth on these videos has been insane. I am hesitant to pivot our niche this early into our channel, but I have noticed something interesting. On the channel that we've been using for inspiration, they've uploaded 22 videos in total. Across those uploads, they have switched between 3 different games, and they were still able to maintain a strong baseline in views. I usually don't recommend creators pivot their niche within their first 5 uploads because you don't want to have to go through that initial discovery phase again. But for our case, from what I've seen from this channel here and my YouTube search, it seems that our target audience is interested in all games popular on Roblox, not just Grow a Garden. And the best part is, from my research, it seems that this new game follows a very similar premise to Grow a Garden that we are going to take advantage of. So I ended up just taking our original storyline and I was able to convert it back to the original structure of a conflict arc because a certain game mechanic of the new game made it possible. Everything else stayed the same because we had already tested them and they had given us an extremely high retention. So I thought to myself, why change something that is already working? With that storyline down, I fed the general outline to ChatGPT and got it to produce the image prompts. Just like previously, I adjusted each of these prompts and used assets to assist. This time around, I ended up generating all the images and videos simultaneously while editing the video, because last time there was quite a lot of downtime just waiting on generations. After all of that, I finished the short off with a music track and exported it to my desktop. And from ideation to completion, that video took me just over 1 hour to complete. Day 6. It's been 2 days since we've finished the second video and you're probably wondering why we have not uploaded it yet. As a rule, when starting a new channel, within your first 5 uploads, you need to be waiting at least 48 hours in between each upload. After that time has passed, for each upload, check your real-time view candles on the right-hand side. If you are still seeing consistent candles above 100 views per hour, hold off uploading. But once those candles dip below 100 views per hour for more than 12 hours straight, that's your signal from the algorithm to post your next video. And I'm not making this up either. I've tested it myself and I know what happens if you don't respect the algorithm. For example, on one of my recent channels, things started to take off by my 3rd upload. That video alone pushed past 500,000 views and gained over 7,000 subscribers. Naturally, I was excited and I thought the momentum would carry over. So I rushed to upload my 4th upload. But instead of riding that wave, it completely flopped. Under 1,000 views. I even tried re-uploading it a few days later, but it still didn't move. Meanwhile, that 3rd short kept climbing and broke past 1 million views. So I went back to my original principle of giving your previous videos time to cool off before uploading again. And by doing that, when I finally published it for the 3rd time, it went viral. And it did not stop at 1 million views or 5 million views. It went on to achieve over 13 million views. That is why it is so important to let your videos breathe instead of flooding the algorithm. Now, I won't lie to you, we could have uploaded on the 4th day because by that time our video had already dropped to below 100 views per hour. But I really wanted to make sure that you understood this principle. So I've been dragging this out to get the point across to you. So what I have done is prepared our 2nd video that we created ready to upload. All the relevant fields have been populated just like I showed you on the 1st day, and we are now going to press publish together. And the video is now uploaded with an amazing 0 views, but of course that's because it's only been a few minutes since we uploaded. I am obviously hoping that our 2nd video here can outperform our 1st video in terms of views, because as we were mentioning a few days ago, the only reason why we think this short did terribly was because it was our 1st short on the channel. So in my eyes right now, the sky is the limit with our 2nd upload. Day 7. Our 2nd video has been pushed to over 11,000 views and has gained us 100 subscribers. To date, this short is outperforming our 1st video in terms of views, because if I roll over the chart, you will see that within 8 hours and 25 minutes, we have gained just over 11,000 views. And remember this number, because when I come back to our channel, you will see that our 1st video in the same amount of time only reached 6,000 views. So our latest video is almost doubling our 1st video's performance so far. Now, for the finer details details, you will notice that our retention and swipe through rate is not available yet in this overview tab, but if I change it to our engagement tab, you will see some very positive metrics. Firstly, as we expected, our swipe through rate is finally above 80%. Once again, we could not achieve a rate like this on our first video because our channel was in that initial discovery phase. On the flip side, for retention, our average view duration is 38 seconds, which is fantastic because our video length is equal to 43 seconds. We were able to achieve 2 comments, and at face value, they aren't the most positive, but if I come back to our content tab and I come across to our like to dislike ratio, it is still at a very healthy amount. I do expect that coming into the next half of the first 24 hours and into the next few days, that this video does push beyond this flat line. Because in my experience, when your video metrics start to look like this, it's only a matter of time before things start to go crazy. Day 9. I know that we are beyond the first 7 days, but all of the work was completed in the first 7, so the show is continuing. For a quick check-in, the video hasn't really moved since the last update that I gave you, as we have only gained around 500 views. I still don't believe, not even for a minute, that YouTube is done pushing this video just because the metrics remain so high. And while it is getting me down that we haven't seen even one major push since the first 8 hours, I am reminding myself to remain positive. Because on YouTube, things can take a turn for the positive almost instantly. Day 10. I know you see that growth. That's exactly what we've been waiting to see. What is interesting about this growth is that the swipe rate has risen by 2%. This shows that as YouTube continues to push our video to more viewers, it's actually performing even better, which is a strong signal to the algorithm to keep pushing the video. And it has been a consistent push so far for the last 14 hours. We have been hitting around 400 to 600 views per hour. And for a quick update regarding our first video, it's still a flat line just like we left it. And for a wider update now on our channel, we are now at just over 350 subscribers. Let's hope that this growth continues as our second video continues to perform. Day 12. It's not as cool now when I do it, is it? We have now flatlined. In the past, I have had shorts go ahead and get millions of views from this point, so it is not the end of the world yet. What has happened though is that YouTube has tested our short not once, but also twice. And it has taken data from those first 2 pushes to assess whether our video is good enough to get pushed again. Now, as I've been telling you, based on my intuition, these metrics are high enough for YouTube to continue pushing our video. So once again, I do believe that it's just a matter of time now. Day 16. It is a Sunday afternoon. I've been doing no work today, but I have seen something that has shocked me. Let me show you. So you can see our channel has reached 600 subscribers. But more importantly, our second video, which was struggling to perform, has reached just under 50,000 views. Now, obviously, this is not many views yet, but if I come into our real-time chart, you will see how things have progressed very quickly. The channel did peak in the evening at just under 8,000 views, and since then, the views have started to slow down. But coming into the evening, I do expect these candles to pick up once again to around the 8,000 views per hour mark. Looking at the view chart though of our second video, you can see those first 2 pushes, which was YouTube testing our video, and finally, around 8 hours ago, we finally got pushed into the algorithm. And as you can see by that little gradient increase up there, we are still getting views and this video has not yet flatlined. If this has taught you anything so far, it's that you are rewarded if you have a clear strategy and you are creating high quality content. So many people get YouTube wrong when they think that it's not fair or that YouTube will not reward them. You need to know that the algorithm wants to reward your content and for it to go viral. Every day on YouTube, there are over 200 billion views on YouTube Shorts. And if you understand the basics of supply and demand, YouTube needs a constant supply of new content. So if you just do a few small things right, you will start to see results like this, where you break away from the normality and start earning money from YouTube. It has been 48 hours since we last checked in, and the video has now reached 80,000 views. If I come into the video analytics, you can see the pattern of our video's performance so far, where each day it's like another leg up, where we have been been pushed consistently each day into the algorithm. For our swipe through rate and average view duration, they have both continued to remain strong despite our video almost doubling in views. So once again, I don't think this video is going to slow down anytime soon. Ideally, from this point, we would start creating our third video for this channel. But for the sake of this challenge, I'm going to let this channel just ride it out. Final update. It's been a few days since we last checked in, and the video is now at 150,000 views and we have gained 1,000 subscribers. Among the comments, I have had some people complain that the video was AI. I don't usually receive these types of comments on my other AI channels, and I've been running many for the last year. For example, I ran this channel here for 7 days as a private experiment. It was an AI image story channel of football players, and all of the comments were very positive, and no one really cared about the content being AI. And considering that that video did gain over 400,000 views, it wasn't like it was a small sample size. And as another example, take my long form channel that is completely AI generated. It is monetized, and all of the comments on this channel are probably the most positive I have ever had. This particular channel is one of my private ones, but in a future upload on this channel, you will learn more about it. After reviewing the negative comments though, I do feel like the hacker conflict within the videos was too exaggerated. So if you are going to create AI content, try to keep the themes with what is realistic. If you don't, you run the risk of turning people away. And at that point, you are probably creating something called novelty-based content, which loses its appeal very quickly. And I am sure recently you have seen these gimmicky AI niches pop up and disappear as quickly as they became popular. Not to mention, it's practically impossible to build a brand associated with these types of channels. So you are honestly just wasting your time. Moving forward from here though, the channel is at a great baseline to build from. And with some adjustments to the hacker conflict, 500,000 views and beyond would be very realistic here going into our third upload. And if you do want to leverage my experience to start your own YouTube channel and get it to the point where it does earn you an income, you can learn more about my coaching using the link below.